Assalamu alaikum. I'm downloading them. Okay, guys, why we are creating these videos? Because we all want to be to know everything what is happening in this because everywhere there is a chaos. Why my title is war become a religion? Yeah, why? Because there are some things are going on in nowadays. Like there's some tweets and some other things. I forget it. What was these things? Hello. Hello. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much. My throat is eating. Why Jews don't believe in Jesus? Rabbi Yusuf is something is now is very famous.
So tonight,
Oh,
something that every Jew must know, not only Jews, the whole world has to know that, but the priority right now is to inform every Jew, and Baruch Hashem, many of you came here, first time I'm in Houston, I was in Dallas in the past, the first time I'm here to meet this community.
like uh, uh, Jesus or Isa alayhi salam, he met everything. Like he was capable, not capable. He was a prophet. But why they don't believe it? Why they think that he these these because of this thing we did not accept the Jesus as a Messiah, as Isa as salam, peace be upon him.
We have to know what does it mean to be a Jew and what's really the difference between Judaism to all the other religions and cults who are all over the world. If you really search in the entire world, you find so many different cults and religions, 7 billion people, and only 13.2 million of them are Jews. It's almost impossible to believe such thing, that from 7 billion people, the Jews are only 0.018% from the world, and actually they are the ones who you hear about the most. You hear about the Jews probably more than all the other 80,000 religions and cults combined. It doesn't make any sense. Why would the whole world would be busy with Israel and the Jews and all kinds of things?
Yeah, Israel need to stop the genocide. That's why he's in the page.
When the Jews are not even 1% of the population in the world. Doesn't make sense, no? We will understand that in a few minutes. But before, we have to give a little bit background of some of our history. According to the Torah that was given to us in front of millions of witnesses, the world is 5,773 years old. Now I know what's on your mind. You are influenced by many books or articles or lectures that you watched in your life that the world is millions of years old or billions of years old. Lectures that you watched in your life that the world is millions of years old, or articles or lectures in your mind. You are influenced
5,000, 5,000. It's 700.
Influenced by many books. Now I know what's on. It's 5,773 years old. Now I know what's on your mind. You are influenced by many books or articles or lectures that you watched in your life that the world
I think according their calendar.
is millions of years old or billions of years old. But according to the Torah, and it can be proven in few minutes, but that's not our topic right now. In case you are wondering, you're going to my website. I posted over there a lecture, a film by an American scientist. If I'm not mistaken, he's here from Texas. His name is Robert Gentry, non-Jew. And he proves that the world is only a few thousand years old, and he takes every one of the claims that the scientists claim that the world is millions of years old, and he proves that the world is only a few thousand years old. He speaks about everything you ever heard about, and he proves that none of it is a proof. It's all theories, all speculations. There are two kinds of science in the world: objective science and speculative science. The difference is, when it comes to objective science, it can be proven immediately and nobody can argue that because everyone sees the facts. If you repeat some transaction 1,000 times and always it comes with the same results, that's already a scientific proof. You know that it's always working. But when you estimate and you assume and you put them together, all the assumptions that you make, and based on that you build a fact, and then you come to school and you teach the student that the world is millions of years old and we came from the monkeys based on the theory of Darwin, which actually was completely destroyed by his followers and his students because they came to a dead end, so they had to re-modify the entire theory. So we see that all these theories, there's millions of theories. If you want to believe theories, it's up to you. You can follow the theories and base your life based on theories. I'm not here to talk about theories. I'm only here to talk about facts, as you're going to see soon. So the Torah is different than all the 80,000 religions and cults. What's different about the Torah? The Torah, it's the only book that was given to a nation in front of millions of witnesses. Let me explain. Speaking about Islam.
What a look. Okay, कैसे हो भैया? जबरदस्त. Afternoon. Good. I'm great. Guys, how are you? वो क्या हाल है? Good, good.
About 1400 years ago, a person named Muhammad came and he claimed that Angel Gabriel gave him the Quran. How many witnesses he had that he gave him the Quran? Not even one. It's his story. Not one person ever witnessed that event. He himself admits that he was alone. So he comes and tells us a story that he received this book from an angel named Gabriel. How did he know the name Gabriel?
Which country is going to win war? In wars, no one wins a war. Always there is a destruction. In wars, no one wins a war. Remember it, guys. Who is this guy? He's a rabbi, and he's talking about Jesus. Why Jews don't believe in the Jesus? I think because your mindset is like poor mindset. That's why. Like your child, like saying USA will win the war is clearly like I'm considering that you are child. Who is this? Oh yeah, no one wins in the war. Bro. Yeah, no one wins in the war. It's not a battlefield. My mindset is not like that. I'm a man. No, bro, you're not man.
He comes from the Torah. Why Muhammad would use a name from a Jewish book if he wants to start a new religion? Why would he use a name from an angel that belongs to the Jewish nation, the three angels of the Jewish nation according to the Torah? The answer is the Christians and the Muslims never claim that the Jews never received the Torah. The opposite. They're backing it up 100%, 1,000%. Never in history, none of them, whether they like the Jews or not, that's besides the point. But they always...
First of all, not this Torah. Right nowadays they have it, not this one. Because they have corrupted the Torah. So what do you think? But I think no one. Sub look sub छुट्टी नहीं भाई सब लोग सब छुट्टी नहीं भाई और आईटी आपका क्या तकलीफ है मैं तो भी हूँ मैं आदमी से I'm Muslim bro. I'm Muslim clearly. I don't believe in the lies like humanity thing. It's a lie. It's like making a fool. You become a godless. You know, Jews created this thing. Like world become a godless because their Messiah can arrive. I like in nowadays I'm making a videos on Jews because I want to learn their mentality because in this time they control the whole world and they are saying we have to create a situation in that can bring their Messiah. In this situation, there are like three or maybe four. Like I'm going to count you. I'm going to tell you which situation, like which condition need to be the world. Like first of all, world need to have a chaos. Like always, there's a fight is going on. Second, people need to be a godless. They don't believe in the God. Third, the, their government need to be godless, like your government don't believe in the God. And fourth one, I don't. And fourth one, the the like Europe and Arabs country will fight each other. Fourth one, then their Messiah can arrive. And most of the time, we all know they are pulling the plugs, like they are doing it, guys. Nowadays, we can see it clearly. If you little bit search it, you will find out. And they are also, they are not saying like they are not right now, they are not backing up. They are saying, yes, we want our Messiah come here. He need to be here.
Stuck to that fact that the Jews received the Torah in a public event and God spoke to Moses in front of millions of people and everyone heard that dialogue. Why, when they come to invent a new religion, why would they continue from Judaism? Better to put a big X on Judaism and say it was all false, all nonsense. This is the truth. Everything they told you until now, it's nonsense. Here is the real truth and finished. The answer is, it would be exactly like me coming here today and claiming there was no September 11. If I come now and say, ladies and gentlemen, everything you know about September 11, the twins collapsed, the terrorist attack, the planes who collapsed, the 6 other buildings who fell, it was all nonsense. It never happened. It's a story. Anyone would take me serious? No one would even listen to the rest of my words. Why? Because I already proved that I'm not exactly smart claiming such a claim. It would be a lot easier to say, of course, it happened, we all saw it. But then to make a sharp turn into the direction that I'm interested to take you to. Which means I'm the new prophet. There were many prophets until now, starting from Moses, and then all the Jewish prophets, and even Christianity is fine, Muhammad said. And now I'm the last prophet, and he gave me the Quran, and I'm the leader. And everyone who would not listen to me will be killed by sword. And that's how Islam started. It started to go from one tent to the other by the Arab tribe in the desert. And those who refused to accept his prophecy, supposedly.
No, guys, like 13 years, Prophet start, like, not start the Islam religion because Islam is like, we believe that Islam started from the Adam alayhi salam, the first creation of the God that was created, the first human from the first human. Islam started from this, from him. Like God sent some prophets, and they teach us what we need to do, we need to do in this world. Which thing is bad, which thing is good. Like halal and haram is like a good and bad. This is good, this is bad.
He got killed. So there, he didn't leave them that much of a choice. You with me or you dead? And that's how it started. And today we have about 1.5 billion people following this religion. We'll be back to it soon. What about Christianity? 2,000 years ago, a Jewish woman named Miriam get engaged to a Jewish person named Yosef. Yosef and Miriam. They got
No, they did not engage anything. Like the Maryam, it was the God giving birth. Like God gave him the child without the father. You know, God can give anything. Because he have created a human without anything else. Like there was nothing, but he created the Adam, and the creation is there. If he can create something from nothing, he can create like from anything. Yeah, he can do anything.
engaged to a Jewish person named Yosef. Yosef and Miriam. They got engaged. But not an engagement like today, he bought her a ring and some flowers and they made l'chaim. No. The engagements, according to the Torah, Nahara Meorasa, it's 100% a married woman. She already had a chuppah, everything 100%. The only difference between that to Nahara Nesua, Eshet Ish, to Nahara Meorasa, is one level, one more step. What is it? That they did not move into the house and had intimate relation yet. Which means the custom of those days were you get engaged, you get married, you put the ring on the finger, they make the to everything is ready. That's it, you married already. No one he cannot go with anybody else. He goes for a few months and he comes back, he brings enough money and you build your home. You didn't need $10 million to build a home, not even $1 million, not even 100,000. You build a home with few helpers, they come, they take some trees and they build homes. It was very, very simple those days. But you still need some money. That period took few months. The husband would come back with enough money and they build their homes. When Yosef the carpenter came home, he found out that his wife, even though he never touched her, she's already in a progressive pregnancy. So he asked her what happened. So she said, you really suspect that I cheated? That's what you think of me? This is in the first page in the New Testament. God came to me in a dream and he made me pregnant. And this son,
Like after hearing like 3-4 words and they are laughing back, this is like still. I heard one Christian, he was saying we believe in Jews God. Bro, I'm sorry, you are Muslim, I tell you. But the great Jews are rich too, bro. Okay, bro, the richest Muslims are really the richest in the world. Hindus जो बहुत हमारे हैं वो लोग भी बहुत अमीर हैं. क्रिश्चियन जो अमीर actually those who are very rich. Their religion is money, so it Hindu, Jews, Christian. I mean, Hindus are also as rich. Same as a Christian. No, I'm not talking about the rich thing. I'm talking about the power. It's all about the power. Who has the power, bro? I'm talking about the power. You misunderstood me. You're talking about the richness. No, I'm not talking about the richness. I'm talking about the power. Who control the USA's government? Who control? Who has controlled it? Tell me this thing.
will be holy and all kinds of stories. And now he had two options. One option to report her to the authorities. And in those days, a woman who cheated would get an execution punishment with no mercy. Whether she was Jewish or not Jewish, doesn't matter. Everyone understood that it's a severe sin. It's not like today. they put her on television and give her gifts. It's a different world 2,000 years ago. So in those days, he only had two options. One, to report her and lose his love, and one, to pretend that he believes. So he moved in, and they moved in, and then later they had JC. JC was born. He went to yeshiva, he put tefillin, he went to,
What the heck? Even he did not say his name. No, we know his name is not Jesus. Why they say everybody?
whole story like all Jewish boys. And he died. One day he died. He died as a Jew. Did JC start Christianity? Absolutely not. JC made himself a cult. He collected all the homeless people, all the people who had no rabbis, no yeshiva, no community, Jews and some non-Jews.
And still he's the president of the United Kingdom. Oh, that's so bad. Having this kind of president who is like to do something bad with I don't want to say it. It's YouTube. I'm live on YouTube. I'm not going to say it. Like if I was live on the kick, I can say it.
And he made himself in a cult.
With whom?
And he was their preacher. He gives them, some speeches. And between 70 to 300 years after he died, there's different opinions, but at least 70 years after he died, Christianity started by stories of the evangelists, Matthew, Luke, Mark, John. It's people who never saw ever JC. They don't even know if he really existed.
Guys, who is the Muslim or who is Christian in the chat, guys? Tell me. He's saying some crazy thing, guys. If you are Christian, I think you need to hear it, guys. You need to hear it, guys. What he's saying it's wild.
It's like me telling you stories about the grandfather of my grandfather in Iraq 100 or 150 years ago. You want to believe me, fine. You don't want to believe me, fine. Most likely, I myself don't know anything about him. Whatever I'll sell you, you're going to buy. And that's the end of the story. In the beginning, Christianity kept the Sabbath and also the circumcision. When they saw that for a long period of time, this cult does not grow. It's not going anywhere. There's no really future for it. They came to the Romans and they said to the Romans, you have no religion. Why don't you join us? The Romans said, we don't believe in damaging the body. This barbaric custom of circumcision, it's not for us. And also, we don't believe in wasting time. We believe in working around the clock. And you have a day off, it's not for us. So the Christians say to them, if we'll cancel those two mitzvot, two commandments, would you join us? They say yes, and that was the deal between them. And all of a sudden, it became a huge religion. Why? Millions of Romans joined them, and today it's close to 2 billion people, even though there's different kinds of Christianity, many differences between them. But this is the story of Christianity. Going back to the story, how many witnesses saw that God came to Miriam in a dream, to Mary? And
guys, right now we are learning why Jews don't believe in Jesus. That's why I'm like want to see like what Rabbi think about why they don't believe. And this Rabbi is wild, guys. This is wild. I think he's Zionist.
spoke to her and made her pregnant.
I have heard before more rabbis, they were like Jews, just simple Jews that were teaching each other. He's wild, guys.
Even one. There's not one witness. It's a story of someone who had all the reasons in the world to lie to save her life. She had a serious incentive to make up a story before she will be executed. So she made up that lie worked, and today we see the results of it. But the point is, not one person can witness a dream of a woman. Not one person. The Torah, the same thing Buddhism. 2,400 years ago, a person named Buddha claimed he saw the light. Spiritual light.
Come on,
What
guys.
is this
Who is
light?
Christian?
Nobody really
Tell
knows.
me in the chat.
He claimed that
I
he
want
saw
to hear.
spiritual revelation, he saw the light.
I want to
And
show you
people
what he
started
said
to
is
follow
something.
him as
It was
supposedly a
vile.
holy person. How many people saw that Buddha saw the light? What exactly Buddha gave them from God? Nothing. Buddhism have hundreds of millions of people. Hinduism, it's a religion that is following all kinds of idol worshipping, amazing idol worshipping. If you see some of the movies of what they worship, you won't believe that it's possible that people would worship such thing.
I'm Christian,
But
but
they never brought anything from God. They don't claim they have a connection to the creator of the world. And
no, he said something vile, guys. He just said something vile. We believe in the Jesus. He's the Messiah. My blood was boiling, girl. Where he said it. I think there is
told them
something.
to do what they do. They have all kinds of beliefs in all kinds of people. They have heroes in India, and those heroes, in one hand they're merciful, the other hand
Christians need to wake up, guys.
They have all kinds of names of their heroes, and that's basically their religion. What's the difference between Judaism to all these religions and cults who came after? The first serious religion is Judaism. Yes, in the time of Abraham, 200-300 years before the Torah described that everyone was idol worshippers. People worship the sun, the moon, the stars, animals, all kinds of worshippings. But there was no authentic official religion. Nothing yet.
You know, Christians start worshipping bull. After Musa alayhi salam went like on the mountain, they start uh, worshipping a bull. Why?
The Torah
Maryam was the greatest woman and was chosen by the God and giving many miracles according to Quran. Yeah, you're right.
was given to the Jews.
There is a surah. There is a whole surah all about the Maryam, the story of Maryam. You can search it.
Jews heard the voice of God speaking to the nation of Israel. How do I know it? Maybe someone fooled us. I don't like, with me, belief doesn't work, only proofs. So if someone tells me a story, right away I go and I check it. Even when it comes to Judaism. If somebody comes and say to me, Chazal say, the sages say, I always ask, show me the source, and believe it or not, 20-30% of the time the source is not exactly as the person claimed. You always have to check the source. And how valid is the source? Yeah, you can have a lot of sources, but who knows who say the source is valid? So the answer is, when we open the Quran, there is one rule when you come to examine a religious book.
Yeah, now I remember it. I was telling about they are like they are creating a situation that their Messiah can arrive in this time period. Like there is a condition. In this world need to be a godless, like everybody is a godless, their governments are godless, and there is a chaos, and Europe and Arabs need to fight. And fifth one, Muslims Muslims and Christian need to join together. Like there's a fifth condition for them. It is God. Bro, Jesus himself don't say I'm God in the Bible. Show me a verse. I want to see it. In Bible, Jesus don't say I'm God. Show me a verse.
When you claim that God gave this book, like the Quran, they claim God gave it. They claim Judaism is part 1, and Islam part 2, and Christianity, the New Testament is part 2, and Muhammad add part 3. So it's all from the same God, which means there should not be any contradictions between the books. If it's the
Can you
same
send
writer,
a,
he remember
Can you send a link? I can see it.
dates, He remembers names. He doesn't make foolish human errors like we can
भाई
do.
मैं
Even
ये
us,
सबके
if
पढ़ने
you know
में
Torah enough, it's
सोचता
very
हूँ कि
unlikely
मैं
to
बस
make mistakes.
सबके साथ
But if you open the Quran,
no, if you are like not with one with anyone, like it's very weird. The bands, right? Different all was they planning to destroy it. No, they will not destroy it because they are not clean. Like they need to be clean. If they want to create a temple, they need to be clean.
and the Quran say God gave the land to the Jewish people. He took them out of Egypt. Pharaoh and his advisor were wicked people. God took the chosen people, and Musa, which is Moses, same person. He took them to the promised land, and the Torah is holy. All these verses are in the Quran.
I think in this time they can destroy anytime they want to do it. They themselves they don't want to destroy it right now. They are waiting for their Messiah. He will arrive and he will build a temple.
I always say, if I would be the prime minister for one day instead of Benjamin Netanyahu, the arguments about Israel would be over in 1 hour. I would go to the United Nations and I would stand over there and I would say to all the Arabs members there, and there are plenty of them there, I would say to them, what's the holiest book in your eyes in the world? They would say the Quran. I say, very good. So who gave the Quran? They would all scream, Allah. Who is Allah? The creator of the world. They say, yes. So if the creator of the world says something, all people in the world must listen to him? Or only if you feels like it? They say, no, you must listen to him. You're not allowed to move an inch from what he said. Then I would open the Quran and show them about 15 sources in the Quran that shows, first, that the Torah is more reliable than the Quran. Muhammad said to his followers, if you have a doubt about my book, go to the Jews and check in the Torah. This is the book that was given first and is more reliable. It's a verse in the Quran. It says in the Quran that God blessed the Jewish people and he took them to Israel and he gave them the Holy Land. Actually, I yesterday got an email from a Muslim.
And after they did not fight for the God, when God sent them fight, they ran away. Just like small group were with the Prophet. They don't want to die, guys.
Professor from Algeria.
I think Christians have done it more wars. They like stay behind the walls always.
A lot of those, almost every week. And he wrote to me that there's no question that the land, the Holy Land, belongs to the Jews.
They don't want to die for the God.
Claim otherwise, he's not sticking to the text. So I wrote to him, if all Muslims would be like you, the problems in the world wouldn't be so big. I mean, they would stick to the text, but they say whatever they want, and they try to match the text to their agenda. That's not the way you go. If you have a divine book, you have to surrender to what the book said, because this is God against you. You cannot go your way. You have to go his way. All right? So according to them, I'm sure right away in the United Nations, and the arguments will be over for good. They will never know what to do after that. The whole world will be in shock. But the Israeli politicians, with all due respect, never read the Torah once in their life. Never. I promise you that. Except few religious one that sits in the Knesset. Every other secular member in the Knesset, and almost every other Israeli secular in Israel, about 6-7 million of them, never read the Torah once in their life. Of course, they give bombastic speeches against the Torah, and they pretend they're expert, but if you connect them to a lie detector, I promise you won't find one of them who read the Torah once, from the beginning to the end, that can explain the literal meanings of the words. Forget about the secrets, all the hidden secrets, all the oral laws, everything. Torah, it's a very complicated unit. But even just to explain the meaning of the words in the Torah, none of them knows. And you know what? I'll make a better deal than you. Even take a professor for Tanakh that teach in a high school, and you tell them to explain the meaning of the words, almost none of them would know the meaning, just the simple meanings of the words. And of course, they speak against Judaism, against the Torah, and we will understand later why they have the urge to criticize the Torah so much when they never read and they don't know exactly what's in it. But we go back to what we started. So, in the Quran, it described that Haman and Pharaoh had a meeting. How did they know about those two people? They read in the Torah that the Jews were in Egypt, Pharaoh was the king. How long ago was that? 3,400 years ago. And then they read in the Tanakh, in the Esther scroll, Megillat Esther, that there was King Ahasuerus in Persia when the Persians became the empire in the world about 2,400 years ago. And then he had an advisor, his name was Haman, was a wealthy, wicked person. And now the writer of the Quran took two figures. He took Pharaoh and he took Haman, and he wanted to create a fake story. There's only one problem. When the last Pharaoh died, only 1,000 years later Haman was born. So there's no way in the history that Pharaoh and Haman met each other. This is a human error in the Quran that obviously...
Nowhere it says, guys. I have heard about the story. Like in the Maryam Surah, you can not in Maryam Surah. There's another surah. Like there's 4 or 5 surahs. Combine it, you can find the story of the Musa alayhi salam. His brother, and he went to the this some tyrant who was killing a Jew. No, this time they were not Jews. Then after Musa alayhi salam freed them, they become a Muslim according to us.
a person that had a little bit knowledge in the Tanakh would not make. I give you another example. According to the Quran, the mother of JC, she is the sister of Moses.
Jesse? Who is Jesse, guys?
Which means Moses is the uncle of JC, according to the Quran. Did you ever hear more ridiculous mistake in a book that claimed to be the book of God? Moses lived 3,350 years ago. The JC was a little...
They don't mention Jesus Christ. No other rabbi said name. Yesterday I watching another rabbi. He was saying it. He said his name. He was preaching in the classroom. I think he's more Zionist, guys. That's why he's not saying it. No, bro. I love everyone. I love everyone.
bit less than 2,000 years ago. His mother Miriam, she was 2,000 years ago. The sister of Moses, her name was also Miriam. They made a mistake between two Miriams. The prophet Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses, became the mother of JC, according to the Quran. Mariam bat Amram. It says in the Quran, what did you do? You brought us this baby. Your father wasn't a wicked man. And your mother...
Even Jesus talked when he was like in his mother's arms. That's why they did not kill the Maryam. They were they were trying to kill it.
Your mother wasn't a immodest woman. What is going on here? You're not married. You came. The same Miriam, they mix between her. This is mistakes that if I take my little son in first grade and I say to him, I want you to fake a story, he would not make such mistakes. You see, the person who wrote the Quran, his knowledge in the history and in Torah and the Tanakh was very, very limited. That's why there's so many mistakes over there. Now let's talk a little bit about the New Testament. The New Testament, it's books that started, as I say to you, 70 to 300 years after Jesse died. Jesse never started a new religion. As a matter of fact, if you open the book Matthew, it says in Matthew, it's very interesting what it says over there. JC says like this, I'm not coming to contradict the Torah. They claim in the name of JC that that's what he said. So according to them, let's see in 2 minutes why Christianity cannot be valid. In 2 minutes, you don't need to argue, just to listen to the facts. Based on their books, we're not even talking based on the Torah, based on their own books. It says over there, JC said to his follower, I do not come to contradict the Torah. I only came to fulfill. If heaven and earth will be cancelled, will be destroyed, no one will be still allowed to change one letter from the Torah, even a part of the letter. If anyone would change one of the commandments of the Torah and will teach to otherwise than the way it is, will be cursed by the kingdom of heaven. Which means all of you, my followers, must keep all the laws of the Torah. Now, do you know one Christian today in the world, include the Pope, one of them who keeps even one mitzvah from the Torah? Show me one Christian who keeps mitzvot from the Torah. They keep the Sabbath.
They changed the Torah. That's why Isa alayhi salam came for like teaching them, don't change the Torah. Because at that time, their rabbi were doing it something. They were changing it because rabbi were like on the top. If they said it, it's become a Torah for them.
No. They eat kosher? No. They keep the laws of Nida? No. They put tefillin? They pray 3 times a day? Whatever. They slaughter the animals as the way the Torah describes? No. Nothing. Not one mitzvah from the 613 they keep. But JC, that's his will to his followers. If this is your hero, if this is what you claim is the Son of God, if you claim he's the Messiah, if you claim he's the most important person in history, according to them, you must listen to at least some of what he says. What does he say in Matthew? Matthew 5.
I think most of the words is changed. Shit, guys. I think he's according to me.
Verse 17 to 19. Remember the source. It's recorded. Matthew 5, verse 17 to 19. JC says, I do not come to contradict the Torah. I only came to fulfill. It means to explain to you. No one is allowed to change one commandment from the Torah. You ask the Christians, how do you handle this verse? There's few verses here in the name of JC. There's no answer. They don't know where to hide. But it gets a lot worse. The New Testament begins. The reason I tell you all this, not that I claim that you want to convert to Christianity or Islam. I only do it because soon when I prove to you how do you know the Torah is divine, then you will see that with the same way I'm criticizing books and prove that it's human books, not divine, the same way I prove that our book is 100% divine. By finding one human error in a book, that's an indication that this book was not given by God. Because God does not make mistake. Even if the rest of the book is beautiful, with lots of knowledge about nature, about whatever, geography, but once there is a human error somewhere in a book, you can never rely on this book again. Remember this rule. Because by us people, we make mistakes. If I write a book now and it's going to be the bestseller, and a year later someone will find a mistake there, no one will hang me. No one would stone me to death. Okay, people make mistakes, human error. The date wasn't correct. The genealogy, you skip one generation. No problem, I'm a human being. And the next edition, I'll fix it. But when it comes to a divine book, there's no chance for second mistake. One mistake and the book became nothing. Piece of paper. So now, the New Testament begins describing the genealogy all the way from King David to Joseph the carpenter. Why is it? Why the writer of the evangelist, the New Testament, why he started the New Testament with this genealogy, the generations all the way from King David to Joseph the carpenter? What's the connection to King David? Why not to Abraham? Why not to Moses? Why only to King David specifically? The answer is Christianity claims that it's true. The Jews received the Torah in front of millions of witnesses. God gave it to them. We witnessed that. We know it. It was in our days, before we became Christian. So there's no way to deny it. However, God gave another book, which means it's part 2. So now, we want to claim that JC is the Messiah. And the Torah already said clearly, Mashiach ben David. Messiah, son of David. That's it. A verse in the Torah. The Messiah must come from the family of King David, which means he has to be righteous, he has to be holy, he has to be decent, but that's not enough. If you have all the skills, but you're not from a family of King David, you cannot be the Messiah. You can only be the Messiah if you have all the skills I mentioned, plus you come from the family of King David. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. So now they're trying to describe that Joseph the carpenter is a grandson of King David. So far, no problem. You go about more than 30 generations over there in their book, and then they arrive to Joseph. And then the story begins. Joseph went away, and he came back after a few months, and he saw that his wife is pregnant. And he asked what happened. She said, believe me, I didn't cheat.
Even that time, she were not married. She were not married. No man touched her. No man touched her. He's saying some kind of shit, guys. I have no idea from which side he's bringing these kind of things.
God came to me.
Like once he did not say. I think once he said it. Like once he got the verse of the Bible. Yeah. But most of the times he was just saying it. Like he said that believe my words, what I'm saying it.
And made me pregnant. So far, that's the story in the New Testament. So who's the mother of JC? Mary. Everyone saw where he came from. Good. Who's the father? You ask the Pope or any priest. Who's the father? They say God. Son of God. God made her pregnant. Is God a grandson of King David?
No.
Of course not. So why did you waste a page and a half to link Joseph the carpenter to King David when right in the next page you wrote that he has nothing to do with the kid? Such ridiculous mistake. Even first grade student would not make such mistake. Here, in front of you, I brought you, maybe I didn't bring enough. Don't push after. But you can see it online, everything, or if you have an app, all my lectures are free. I brought you a DVD of a 3 hours debate that I had with a Christian professor in New York 4.5 years ago. It's already had more than 1 million views, and hundreds of Christians already converted to Judaism. 7 priests left big churches after they saw it. Not only that, not many of you knows that the previous Pope that resigned, the reason that he resigned is not me, but it's Judaism. Rabbi Yaakov Ades, there's a big tzaddik in Yerushalayim that wrote a book, and they translated it to English, to Italian, and he sent it to Rome, and somebody gave it to the Pope, and the Pope sent them a secret letter that after he read this book, it doesn't give him rest. And shortly after, a few weeks later, he resigned. First time in history, I believe, that a Pope resigned in his job. You understand?
These Jews, hypocrites, says Christians believe in Torah, but we don't believe Jesus. So who only we reach God? They are basically demons, pure hypocrites, pure Jews. 100% I can say this is Zionist. He is Zionist, guys. I have heard more Jews, but they did not talk about bad about the Jesus. Like yesterday, I was hearing a Jew. He was a preacher. No, he was like teacher. He was telling that the Christian are like monotheism. Monotheism. They are spreading a monotheism and killing Muslims. Yeah, most of the time he is wild, guys. If you heard him Your blood will boil, guys.
Understand why the evidence is so solid. You have to close your eyes and pretend you're blind to continue to follow it. There's so many human errors. Let me give you an example. So they were trying to prove that Joseph is a grandson of King David, and right after that they said that Joseph is not the biological father. So that means JC is not the father of Joseph. JC cannot be Mashiach, cannot be the Messiah. Christianity is over before it started. On the first page, God confused them. The ones who faked that book, he already made them make such a critical mistake that every logical human being would see it right away. It would know not to waste a minute. Apparently it doesn't work. Close to 2 billion people follow it. I'll give you another example. In the Torah it said that Jacob went to Egypt with 70 people. Jacob and all his family, 70 people the Torah say. In the New Testament it says 75. What happened to God? He doesn't remember? There was 70. All of a sudden, 1300 years ago, God gave part 2 and he forgot that he was 70. He became 70.
Guys, I want to tell you guys, right now I am live on 3 platforms. I'm live on the Twitch and also on the Kick and YouTube on 3 platforms. As a bizarre trend. Same name.
75. It says in the New Testament, 75. Another mistake. It says in the Torah that Avraham Avinu bought the cave to bury his wife Sarah from a goy named Ephron Achiti. Goy means non-Jew. It's not a bad word. Relax. So, goy means a nation, actually. That's what it means in a holy language.
No, they don't say themselves.
Goy means, it can be, by the way, the nation of Israel can also be called, it's called Goy Kadosh, holy nation. In the Torah there's a verse, you are Goy Kadosh. Goy Kadosh means holy nation. And Goy, it's any other nation. So it says,
No, bro, you have to follow 10 laws. Yeah, 10 laws. Yeah, 10 laws.
it says that Abraham bought the cave from Ephron Achiti. In the New Testament, it became from Shechem ben Hamor, from a different person. In the Torah, it says that the cave is in the city of Hebron, and it's still there. Everybody sees it's in Hebron, big building there. In the New Testament, in Acts 7, in the end of the New Testament, it says that it's in the city of Shechem, Nablus. God doesn't know where the cave of Abraham and Sarah and Jacob and Leah and Yitzchak, he doesn't know where they buried. What happened? He forgot where the cave is? Do you understand how you examine a book if it's divine or not? By the way, I only told you 4 or 5 mistakes. I have 400, but I don't want to ruin your night here. You can't talk away. So let's move on to understand how you examine now the Torah. I open the Torah today. I come to you. Let's pretend I'm the messenger of God. Just pretend. Relax. And you are the nation that I have to convince to follow my leadership and to follow the book that supposedly God gave me. Right? So far everything is clear. Now, when I give you the book and you begin to read that there are 613 commandments. There's 10 commandments on the board, but they're only a small part from the Torah. That's 613 laws. When you begin to read the book, you're getting scared. So, wow, so many things to keep. You're allowed, you're not allowed, do this, do that. Oh, where this guy came from? What's the chance that all of you here would become right away religious?
If you think they are hypocrites, then you need to wake up against your governments. If you are living in the Europe or United Kingdom, because they are controlling your governments. Okay, you have to wake up, guys.
Oh, you did whatever you wanted till now. All of a sudden somebody showed up by the door. He brought a book. God gave me the book. All of you have to follow it. And all of a sudden, history proves the whole nation became observant of the Torah. Until 220 years ago, it was impossible almost, to find not religious Jews. Everywhere you went, all the communities were all religious. Check some history of the Jewish communities. Check the cookbooks with the black and white picture. Every picture they show in every nationality, they're all religious, all the women covered from 100 years ago. Almost everyone was religious, especially in the Middle Eastern countries. And the European countries, until Moshe Mendelssohn, 220 years ago, everyone almost was observant. So the question is, for 3,100 years, almost all Jews were sticking to the laws. For instance, in Yemen, the Yemenite Jews, from the time they arrived to Yemen, more than 2,500 years ago, until today, there was never in a history of Yemen one Jew, until this moment, that wasn't observing the Sabbath. Never in a history of Yemen, until today, there was not one time a Jew that officially became publicly Mechalel Shabbat, a non-observant of the Sabbath. Never. Till today. There's still another 100, 150 Jews left there. How do I know? When the Yemenites came to America, they came to my town, to Monsey. Satmar brought them in. And I asked them, I investigated them. So they looked at me like I'm not normal when I even asked these questions. It wasn't even an option. There was always around the shul, the rabbi, the mori. There's nothing else in our life. So the question is, why in every other country Jews betrayed the laws of the Torah and the laws of God, but all of a sudden we see that one country, nobody did that. Everyone stuck to the Torah. No one is perfect, of course. I'm sure they made some sins here and there, but the main thing is that they stuck to the main laws. They never gave it up. And believe me, they didn't have such easy time. There's poverty and the Muslims were chasing them. So what is it? The answer, in my opinion, is the modern lifestyle in other countries always contradicting the Torah. When a person becomes too addicted to material lifestyle, slowly forget the obligations, what he has to do. He's not interested anymore. He's interested in all kinds of other things that the world has to offer. But over there, life was very simple. Look at the Yemenite food. Almost all the food is water and flour. Almost everything. Malawach, water and flour. Jachnun, water and flour. Fatul, water and flour. And why? There was such poverty. There's nothing to eat. The only thing you can do is make some flour and water and try to create with that. And they create beautiful food. A lot of food. But there was no luxury like other countries had. Like the Jews in Iran had, or in Morocco, or in Iraq, or in Syria. Luxury lifestyle. But over there, it was very down to earth, the life. That's why they stayed the holiest nation until they left Yemen and they came to Israel. And unfortunately, maybe 80% of them, with the help of what's happening in Israel, left the Torah and left the mitzvot, unfortunately. But 2 generations ago, they were all in Yemen, 100%. So what's going on here? How a nation will become overnight observant of so many mitzvot? The answer is, let's analyze it one by one. When I give you the book, can I tell you in the book everything that happened to you in the last year and I will be able to fool you? Can I fool you and tell you what happened to you in the last year? Or you know what happened to you in the last year? You know, right? So if I give you a book and I said, God gave me the book, and you open the book and you begin to read and you see, I'm the God that took you out of Egypt. You were slaves there, you suffer, I released you, I split the Red Sea, I took you out, the Egyptian who chased you, they drowned, and here you are receiving the Torah today. Now, if any one of these details were not accurate, what would you say? What is he talking about? What Egypt? I don't remember we were slaves in Egypt. I don't remember we went through the Red Sea, it split, we went through and the Egyptian drowned. What is he talking about? Who were slaves in Egypt? We just came from, from Japan. We were not in Egypt. Why are you selling us a story? So if I will be so brave to come to 3 or 5 or 10 million, there's different opinions how many millions, but minimum 3 million people, and it's plenty of witnesses. If I come to 3 million people and I say, I am the representative of God, I say, He gave me this book, here is the book, follow it. And you open the book, and you read in the book that I took you out of Egypt with His help, and I made you 100 miracles. Of course, He's the one who makes all the miracles. So you begin to read. In Egypt, all the water became blood, red. Happen or not? If it did not happen, one of you would raise his hand and say, excuse me, Mr. Moses, maybe you had a bad dream. I don't know where you bought this book from, but I don't remember that when we lived in Egypt, everything became blood. I was there. Here, anyone saw blood? Right away, they raised their hand, so we didn't see blood. It says in the book, we all saw blood. If one Jew didn't see blood in Egypt, the Torah will never start. They stone him to death. I'll explain to you why in a few minutes, why they'll stone him to death. You wouldn't even know Moshe existed, Moses. You wouldn't know. Why? You will understand in 5 minutes. Then they open the Torah, and they see that bread is falling from heaven, like rain, like snow. Instead of snow, it's look like man, like popcorn. You eat it, delicious. Wow, everyone is happy. Everywhere they pick it up. So now, if it doesn't happen, this miracle, they'll say, excuse me, what's this nonsense you brought us? It says that we're getting bread. We're killing ourselves to get bread. We're killing ourselves. We're working so hard. You're telling us stories that the bread falling right by our hand? I will be that dumb to tell you such fairy tales, and all of you would agree with my plan? It's not possible. How would I even be brave to tell you 100 miracles that written in the Torah that you know, that I know it never happened to you? I'm only going to make myself look like a total fool. Even the dumbest person in the history wouldn't do such a thing. And we have to agree that Moshe wasn't dumb exactly, right? We see a brilliant person, but it gets even better. It says in the Torah, all of you heard me and God speaking. You heard the voice of God. This is what it comes down to. You heard or you did not hear. If you did not hear, you would say, excuse me, sir, what are you selling here? You're selling us a story. We are here already standing 10 hours. We didn't hear any voice of God. What voice? It says in the Torah, Moshe speaks, and God answers him with a voice. And we know there's a rule in the Torah, there's no extra word. Never. Every word has a deep meaning. So the oral Torah asks, what does it mean God answered him with voice? Of course, how would he answer him? The reason that it says it in a verse, God answered him with voice, that people today, skeptic people today, they would say, oh, you know what happened over there? Moses stood in a hill, and he said, shh, let me hear what God is whispering to me. Shh, okay, dear God, no problem. Okay, he just told me you all have to observe the Sabbath. Okay, wait, shh. Oh, he told me from now on you have to eat kosher. No more pork, no more shrimps. Okay, what else? He can sell the whole story like that. If he wouldn't say in the Torah with voice and everyone hear and see the voice, not only hear, see the waves of the voice, then it will have a very serious problem. People would come and say, of course, Moshe made a nice show. But everyone heard the voice of God. Now, if one Jew, one from the millions, did not hear the voice of God, the Torah would finish before it started. Why? Everyone else heard. Someone didn't hear. Because it will be the first mistake in the Torah. The Torah said, Kol ha'am, the entire nation. If 5, 10, 20, 50, or 100 did not hear, they would raise their hand and say, we also hear. And we didn't hear anything. And that would already create an argument. Say, hey, you say God gave you the book? Why God made such a mistake? Why, he doesn't know that some of us didn't hear his voice? Why he wrote all of us heard the voice? But it gets even better. Moshe told them before to prepare food because it's going to be a holiday. Which holiday? Holiday of Shavuot. That's the holiday of receiving the Torah. We have a custom today, 3,300 years later, that every year we eat dairy food in Shavuot. Why is it? Why in other holidays we never eat dairy? All of a sudden, Shavuot, at least one meal or two are dairy. Why? The answer is, they all prepared meat. Moshe came down with the Torah and they started to see the laws of kosher meat, and they see that the knife that they used to slaughter the animals, There wasn't, according to the law of the Torah. They didn't sharpen the knife, they didn't check for bombs, they didn't cut in the right place, they didn't soak and salted the meat to get rid of all the blood, they didn't check the lung of the animals. There's laws. How do you check that the cow is kosher? Don't just come and stab it and eat it. But before the Torah was given, they didn't know how to do it. All of a sudden, Mr. Moshe comes down and he said to them, all the meat you prepared has to go to the garbage. There's only one problem. Today, when it happens, when you slaughter a cow and you find out that it's not kosher, you call Mustafa. Mustafa, bring your brother Ahmed, come take the cow, halal meat. Halal meat. That's what they do. Halal meat, they buy it from the shochatim, from the Jewish slaughtering, in a much lower price. At least they pay the price of raising the cow.
And I think he's saying it like truly they do it. Truly they do it.
You don't make profit, but at least you don't lose it. That's called halal meat. Why halal meat? Because the Muslims read in the written Torah that you have to slaughter the animal. You cannot shoot them or stab them. You have to slaughter them. But they don't have the
Name of Allah. It's not just a slaughter.
oral Torah, which is the main Torah. That part they don't have. Why? God didn't want the nations to have the oral Torah. If we have time, I'll explain about it later. But they don't have that part. So therefore, they only stick to the literal meaning. Eye for an eye, hand for an hand. They translate it literally. But it doesn't mean hand for an hand. If somebody stole $5 from you, you chop his head off. Like in Saudi Arabia or in Iran. That's not what it means. You have to go to the oral Torah and see what God meant. The way he wrote the Torah is very...
Yeah, it's another law. It's another thing. It's a someone stole it thing. It's a stole it. But it need to be some kind of amount, like this kind of amount. Then his hand can be cut off. It's not like if you steal the one coin, your hand will be cut off. No.
sophisticated and complicated. And he did not want to put all the laws in one book. Why? Because today no one in the world would know who is Jewish and who is not. There would not be a way to know. No one would know if my soul is Jewish or my soul is not Jewish. Why? Because if in a time when God gave the Torah, all the laws would be written in one book, the written and the oral, there was no oral. Everything is written. First of all, the size of the book was all the way from here to New York. The size of the book, because there's so many millions of things in the oral Torah, you have to add everything to one book. It's a very, very long book. Even today, when we try to do Akba'ah, the Torah scroll, especially me, I'm almost falling. Imagine, make it 10 times heavier now. You need 15 people to pick up the Torah, to bring it to read on the Shabbat. The entire minyan cannot pick up the Torah. Why? Because all the laws are inside. So it's not logical. Also, God did not want the nations to have all the secrets of His commandments. If everyone would have it, beard everyone had in those days, there was no Gillette yet. And everyone were covering their head, as you can see in old pictures from 2,000 years ago. So everyone dressed already more or less the same way. So now they come, and one person show up. Where you came from? I came from a place near Iraq. What's your name? You make up a name. And they all assume that he's Jewish. Why? They see he has tefillin, he has talit, he has Torah, he has mezuzot, he has everything. But he's not Jewish. But many of the Gentiles, once they saw the Jews receive the Torah, first thing in my mind was, I want to join this nation. The Torah says that many of them wanted to join, but the majority of their nation refused, because they didn't know what's in it. So the Zohar, the Kabbalah says that all these goyim, all these non-Jews who wanted to join the nation of Israel, but they were forced not to, they come back in reincarnation, in new bodies, in the future, and they have a chance to convert. That's why there's so many thousands of converts. And there's not one day I don't have at least 10 emails of Gentiles begging me to help them to convert. Every day. And that's not even seeing them face to face. Imagine how it goes. There's mamash millions of them. First of all, you should know there's a big movement growing right now of Christians who live Christianity, and they stick to the 7 laws of Noah. They call themselves Noachites. What does it mean? They already, through the lectures of me and many other rabbis, they started to see that really Christianity doesn't make any sense, full of human errors. And to be Jews, they cannot, because they need to convert, and it's not so simple. So what's really their purpose in life? The Torah says, the Gentiles has a share to the world to come. And one condition, what is it? They have to be righteous Gentiles. How do you become a righteous Gentile? Not by keeping the Sabbath or eating kosher. That's not their obligation. There, they have 7 laws. 7 laws to believe in one God. Not two, not son of God, not sister, not brother, not the gods of the Greeks, none of this nonsense. One God only. Muslims keep this law. They believe in one God. Even they claim Muhammad, they claim he's a prophet, but they don't claim he's son of God or any other superpower. The Christians have a very serious problem. Right away, they violate one of the 7 laws, which you should believe and give the credit only to one creator, one God, nobody else. Second, you should not kill. And Gentiles not allowed to murder. You should not steal. They're also not allowed to steal.
Oh,
They should
oh,
not eat raw.
oh, they are allowed to kill, guys. That's why they are doing it in the Gaza, guys. Eh, I think no one need to kill, guys.
Animals, which means they eat the animals before they're completely dead. It's called Ever Min HaChai. They should make themselves a system of courts and police as they wish. They make rules in every country and country, whatever the rules are, as long as it doesn't contradict their obligation in the Torah. And based on those rules, people have to obey the rules. Why? Because it has to be order. It cannot be everyone does whatever they want. They have to make an order in their society. So that's the 5th law. And then to respect God, to believe in one God, God forbid never to curse him, that's another one. And sex crimes with the relatives in the family, even though their sex crimes is not as severe as Jews, because by Jews is much more strict, but by them is also homosexuality is not allowed, relation with animals, it's also a very big sin for the Gentiles. Also brother, sister, mother, father, the 7 closest relative is not allowed. But for instance, if Chris and Christine met in a bar across the street here, and they like each other, and they want to move in right away, they have no sin. They can move in, they can have relation without marriage. There's no marriage by the Gentiles. The Gentiles are copying the Jews after they saw that the Jews have a ceremony that a man puts the ring on his wife, and he has to buy her by giving her something valuable, and she has to agree, and it's a really holy ceremony. And also if they decide to get divorced, so there is a way according to the Torah. One of the 613 laws is to do the divorce, as the Torah says, he has to give her a book to separate from her, because the souls are connected. And only once she gets it to her hand, God is making the separations between them. And as long as she just separated from him and she moved to another place, she still belongs to that man. If she goes with someone else, a very, very big sin. So by then you don't have all that. All the Christians' weddings, all the Muslims' wedding, all the things that they do, it's all, they decided to do it, but there's not an obligation for them. So if a Gentile male and female decided to move in together, they can live as a husband and wife without marriage. They don't need priests, they don't need witnesses, no nothing.
Guys, imagine if someone is like watching him regularly and like thinking he's right and what he's saying and everything is right. Guys, they will be crazy. Literally, they will be crazy. If how many followers do he have? Like 8,000.
However, if they want to cheat on each other, they're not allowed. Once they're together, it's known that they belongs to each other, even though without marriage, they're not allowed to cheat. They want to go with someone else, they have to decide to break up, As soon as they decide and they announce that they break the relationship, everyone can go with whoever he wants. By them, it's not sin. So they can live all their life, do whatever they want, basically, when it comes to these things. And they did not make sins. But a Jew, if he wants to have a woman to live with him intimately, he must marry her first. You understand? So we have laws here. We see that the laws of the Jews are different than them. But they have 7 laws. Also, besides the 7 laws, they have to be decent, which means not everything is written in their 7 laws. But they have to be decent citizens. They cannot make anyone angry. They cannot make noise. They cannot make the place dirty. They have laws that are logical. Every law that is logical, they also bind to keep, which brings it all together to about 35, 36 laws that the Gentiles have to keep. If they keep it, they have a share to the world to come. Many Jews, unfortunately, they don't have a share to the world to come. Every Jew is born with a share to the world to come. The main world is the afterlife. I have a whole lecture in Life After Death. It's 2.5 hours film with scientific evidence that the real life begins only in the time of death. The real story will begin by then. Right now it's only preparation to materialize the ticket that we were born with. But that just because you're born to a Jewish mother and you're born with a ticket doesn't mean you will materialize it. What is it like? You went and bought expensive ticket to a concert of some high society style singer. You go to a place, you pay hundreds of dollars for the ticket, and in the back of the ticket in small print, it said no jeans, no sneakers, no this, no that. They have a list over there, but you didn't pay attention. So you came with shorts, sneakers, you just finished your basketball game, you showed up to the concert, to the opera building, and the guy over there said, what's this? He said, yeah, I came with my girlfriend here, look. He looks, so yeah, I know, I see, but I'm sorry, I can't let you in. Well, what's the problem? I bought the ticket. Yes, you have the ticket. But in the back of the ticket, there are conditions. If you fulfill the conditions, I allow to let you in. But now, since you violated the conditions, you lost your share to the concert. That's exactly how it is. A Jew is born with a ticket for life of eternity full of pleasures. Spiritual pleasure, not stupid pleasure of 5 minutes here and there like we run after in this world. It's a pleasure that you cannot even describe in words to a human being while he's in this world. The Gemara says, all the punishment of the wicked people for the afterlife, it's all described in details. But when it comes to the reward, only a few sentences. Not that much. Why? Should have been equal. You're speaking about all the punishments of the wicked people. Now speak about all the reward of the righteous people. Why only 3-4 sentences? The answer is, it cannot be understood by people. Let me give you an example. If you take a blind person and you try to explain to him how